Now, you worked as an intern and as an engineer when you were at Cornell. You worked for Intel. But then you kind of quickly moved on graduation into the business side. So, did you kind of plan all along to go into business, or is this something, again, that happened while you were studying here at Cornell?
So that transition was not planned. I had actually intended to remain an engineer for the foreseeable future. But the way this transition happened is I joined Intel's rotation engineer program, which is their way for incoming students to try three different jobs in the company within the first year at the company to give them a broader range of experiences. And I figured I had done the hardware design with Intel first. So one of my first rotations I tried was software research with a bunch of actually Cornell PhDs were on the team. And then I decided to try something completely out of left field. Let's try marketing, which, to be honest, going into it as an engineer, I didn't have the highest regards for marketing. We kind of teased that field as a bunch of PowerPoint engineers. But what I learned from that rotation, it was in the competitive analysis group of Intel. It was still a very technical group of people. You had to understand your company's products and features and future capabilities, as well as your competitors. And you got the big picture of a product, the big picture of the company and the industry. Whereas when I was on the circuit design side of things, I just had my little section of transistors, didn't know anything else about the chip, or in some cases, what the whole group was doing. So I really like that big picture and kind of the fusion of having to leverage all my engineering experience, but combining that with the business and marketing knowledge.
Now, it's interesting that you got into business after getting a bachelor's in ECE. So looking back, Cornell has a business degree. You could have gotten a business degree. So what do you see as the advantages and disadvantages of pursuing business with an ECE degree versus getting an undergraduate business degree?
Sure. So I think it really depends on the industry you're going into. For anything high tech, I think it's extremely valuable to have that engineering degree because every decision the company's making, the products they're making, all have engineering at the foundation of it. And just looking at, whether my companies I've worked for, from Qualcomm to Intel, founded by engineers, the current CEOs have engineering backgrounds. And no matter what you do, from the marketing, product management, having that technical expertise makes anything going on that much easier because you're that much closer to what's really going on with the company. That said, I do think there's some benefits to going on the business side, and some of these things maybe still be available to engineers. For example, I think your typical engineer has a very heavy workload and not as much time for some of the extracurricular activities that would help you on the business side, whether it's networking events, business plan competitions, and some of the experience you could potentially get if you weren't so bogged down in your latest physics assignment. So I think there is a balance depending on what students are going after. But if they're looking at high tech, I know many of my colleagues and even some of my Cornell fellow students, started with that engineering undergrad and then went for their, after a few years of experience in Silicon Valley, went for their MBAs afterwards and are just now doing a similar high-tech business role.
Right. Now, when you were here at Cornell, there is a business minor. Did you pursue a business minor? I forget from your CV whether you did. I think at least you took some business courses. Is that right?
Yes, I didn't take a business minor, but started taking some of the classes that were used for the engineering management minor. So I didn't take every single class. I didn't get the official minor, but was kind of on that track. And again, that was with the idea of managing a team of engineers and still being an engineer. So it wasn't until I had that marketing rotation that I made the full switch.
You managed to fit that in while doing all of your engineering courses.
Yes.
That must have been quite a feat. I know, well, a lot of students do that. I know it adds, I mean, there is room in the program, right, to do a business minor.
Mhm.
Would you say it's more work to add the minor rather than doing other things? Or, how much more work was it for you?
I forget the exact credit hour breakdown, but I couldn't use my engineering management credits towards whether it was like my arts requirements and that sort of thing. So it did make for a fuller schedule. But for students whatever university they're at, um, companies, and if you're looking at MBAs down the line, other engineering programs, they always look for, how hard are they pushing themselves in the type of classes. And even I keep getting asked, what did you take senior year? And so luckily I actually took some 500 level, or I believe they're now 5,000 level at Cornell for the graduate level architecture classes. So yeah, highly recommend keep pushing yourself on either side, the business or the engineering, even if you already have that job offer.